Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan talking about the border crisis, but not today. We have one clip of him talking about it just a few years ago and how his views were then. And we have another clip of him talking about it today and how much things have changed. Then we got a silly clip from Louis C.K. talking about the border crisis. Then we got the reality of what's going on. And then I got a clip from a little ways back that a lot of people thought was quite racist, quite ignorant. They were like, why would this gentleman want to say things like this? And let's get into it. Let's start with Rogan first. This is how he used to feel. So what, 4 years ago?
In terms of immigration, in terms of national discussion, the biggest discussion of it that I can ever remember. Right now, with this wall shit, where the government is completely shut down and no one's budging on either side, and all these government workers are not getting paid, and it's all because Trump wants $5 billion for this wall. In an ideal world, it would be ideal if the way the world worked was the way America works, where you could just go wherever you want. That'd be the ideal world if the whole world was America, in the sense of you can go to New Mexico. You don't have to get paperwork signed. No one has to tell you whether or not you're allowed to go visit or not go visit. Yeah. You can just drive there. That's a nice thing about America. It's almost like Europe, but you don't need a passport. Not in it's like Europe. I know you guys have been around longer and all that good stuff. That's not what I mean. I mean in terms of there's a bunch of different feels.
Yeah.
It's all speaking one language. But there's a big difference between visiting Montana and visiting Miami. You know, if you go to Billings, Montana, and hang out with the local folk at a coffee shop, and then you go to some fucking crazy after hours party in Miami on Miami Beach at 4 a.m, and P. Diddy shows up, and fucking, and there's all these celebrities, and people are doing coke on the floor, and like, what the fuck is this? This is a different world.
Yeah.
This is a different world. And there's a bunch of these different worlds. New York City's a different world. LA is a different world. You're allowed to go there. Wouldn't it be great if the whole world was like that? You could just kind of go wherever you wanted to go, and it would all sort itself out. The idea is you can't, because it would fuck up our quality of life. It would make us less safe. And I get the argument.
I get the argument. Flash to today.
One of the things that people are really concerned with is like, what if terror cells have gotten in across the border? When you're letting in hundreds of thousands of people across the border, what are the odds that a few of them are terrorists? Well, haven't they caught terrorists at the border? Haven't they caught terrorists, people on the terrorist watch list trying to get through? They have, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So how many of them snuck through? I mean, is there an accurate accounting, or is it like Ukraine spending? Do they even know the real numbers of people that are sneaking in? Because the numbers are cuckoo. The numbers are like hundreds of thousands a month. Have you seen the videos of the line of migrants making their way through the border?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who thought that was a good idea?
It's ridiculous.
Who thought that was a good idea to let potential terrorists and criminals into the country?
That's why we need to build this wall, Joe.
Because if you say that you're against that, you're racist.
Right.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And you got to wonder how much of that is engineered by other countries. How much of that is engineered social media outrage by Russia.
Oh, with age you learn. That's how it goes. I love how just in 4 years it was like, it'd be great if you could just go around, and then all of a sudden flash it today. So haven't they caught some terrorists trying to come in here? Well, they most certainly have. Let's get into that.
There were a total of 23 arrests over the past 6 weeks. That's nearly as many suspected terrorists caught in 5 full years between 2017 and 2021. This all comes amid heightened scrutiny at the southern border. The Biden administration is under pressure to curb illegal immigration after Title 42 lifted last week. While the number of people crossing has dropped by nearly half, resources are drained in border towns. Detention facilities are at capacity. Churches and schools are being converted into shelters. There has been a demographic shift in immigrants who try to cross the southern border. There are fewer Mexicans and Central Americans and more people from other countries. terrorists may now be among those looking for a way in. News Nation border correspondent Allie Bradley is live in Yuma, Arizona. And Allie, you have exclusive details on one suspected terrorist captured earlier this month.
Well, how about that? And that was 4 months ago. That was 4 months ago when it wasn't all that bad in comparison to how it is today. Wow. Think about that. It was down half. Well, now it's up by probably, I would say, double where it was at. How many people? Because before, you're seeing all those places with people filled up and, oh, we're trying to get in. Now there's just stampedes of people running in. They meet up with a few guards and they say, how do I go to Chicago? Oh, Chicago. Oh, you just go that way, buddy. I saw one border guy giving props to some guy. Going to Chicago? Cool. Bunch of people going to New York. New York's getting like 10,000 people a month. Mayor Adams went from saying, this is where Lady Liberty, this is the welcome. We're welcoming in all these people. And now, flash to him, he's saying, this is going to destroy New York. And it's not even about, it is about things getting destroyed, but more so now who's actually inside. Because if you go to those numbers that she just showed, right? That's how it was. That's how it was. How many are there now? What I'm showing you right now is 7 suspected terrorists caught along the border this month. That was 4 months ago. How many people have come in? What are the odds? Let's say it's 7, right? Right now, 4 months ago. Wouldn't you think in your mind you could double that number possibly? Triple it? Quadruple it? That's why I keep saying, America needs to focus on America first. America first is an okay attitude, especially when things are getting like this. Other countries, right to defend themselves. They should defend themselves. Do whatever you got to do. But America really has to look after this, because this is an attack of sorts. An attack of sorts. People who come in legally, that's one thing. But when there's stampedes of people running in and you don't really know where they are, you don't fully know where they are. All you know about is the ones who need food and shelter. What about the ones that are like, I'll figure it out. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to steal a passport. What about those ones? You have no idea what those ones are doing. You have no clue. Let's hear Louis C.K. talk a bunch of random nonsense about how the border should be. It should look
my
like.
feeling is they should open the border, and just let them pour in, let everybody pour in, and then the answer, which is, well, then there'll be all these problems. Yes, there should be. It shouldn't be so great here, is what I'm saying, in America. It shouldn't be. It's a weird thing to sequester a certain group of people and try to keep upping their lifespan and their lifestyle, and just keep trying to increase that for this group of people, and then this pressure of people trying to come in so they can enjoy it, and then it gets worse and worse down here. I mean, I'm not Canada. It's really just from down here. There's something wrong with that. That's not a system that's working, and it forces people to do cruel things to other people. There's a lot of people that die so Americans can be safe. They're just dying, weddings that are drone bombed in Yemen because the guy said something that might have resulted in American insecurity. Not even like definite American deaths, but like just so we can breathe a little easier. Folks die. And folks do labor in unsafe places so that we can keep the prices where we like them. There's so much about American life that other people pay for. That's part of it. But also, it's not good for us either. It's not a good way to live in a gated community. If you let folks pour in, like any other wave, it'll kind of slosh. And then things will be different. I don't know, what'll really happen? A bunch of people, will they just come with knives and start killing everybody?
Yes. Yeah. That's what will happen. Possibly not every single one of them, but some. I mean, that exact situation that he framed actually happened in Europe, I believe, where someone actually did come at somebody with a knife. It was all over Twitter for a while. Wild situation that America's in, when there are people who literally think, sealing up the borders, making America first, thinking about, thinking about America, thinking about safety of the American citizens is somehow, oh man, you can get thrown in anything from anti-Semitic to racist to xenophobic. There's just so many brandings that you can get for just thinking of your own safety in your own country. It's so no other country gets that. No other country is put through the shame that America's put through. America's put through this deep shame. They always have to be ashamed of racism. They always have to be ashamed of privilege. They always have to be ashamed for wanting a better life. When I've heard sometimes some people will complain about the way things are, because you should, right? The government you should be complaining. And some people will be like, oh, you know how bad they have it in so-and-so place. Oh, you've never been to this. Oh, that's real poverty. It's like, but I'm not there. And I don't care. It's not the worst thing. I don't even want to say it. I don't care I don't care about that. This is what's happening now. I don't care how it is in Afghanistan. What about Philly? Look how it is in Philly. I want Philly fixed. It's not the worst thing in the world. Oh, you don't really have it that bad. It's like, how bad do you have to have it before you can complain? You have to be like worse than the entire world before you can complain? You have to take care of the entire world before you can get your own stuff in check? Like, geez. Imagine you had a government that was only worried about bringing inflation down. That was it. That was all they're focused on. Just sealing borders and bringing inflation down. Wouldn't that be great? I don't know, man. Trump had gas at I think it was like at $1.99 at one point. This is real. At one point, maybe it wasn't for too long. Maybe it went back up to like $2.50 or something like that. But for a minute, it was $1.99. And then you think back to this moment when he came down the escalator, Trump Towers, and he said this.
When do we beat Mexico at the border? They're laughing at us, at our stupidity. And now they're beating us economically. They are not our friend, believe me. But they're killing us economically. The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. Thank you. It's true. And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us.
I remember how racist it was when he said all this. But now, when you think about it, he was right. He was right. Because now it's to the point where Mexico's not even sending Mexicans. There's some Russian people, Russian-speaking people that are coming in. There's all sorts of people from the Middle East. There's all sorts of people now. It's not even... And Mexico has no problem just being like, there's the border. That's how you get in. Go that way. You never even hear about, like, what's going on over in Mexico. Mexico's just like, oh, are you here? You're here for America? Yeah. It's over there. No, go ahead. He's right. That's not... Think about it. You're bordered with a country, and they have no problem just pushing everybody who comes that's coming towards you. They just have no problem pushing them right to the border and saying, get in however you get in. They're not stopping people. They're not detaining people. They're not checking people. Nothing. And then on top of that, they'll do that with some of their people as well. Yeah. It's wild. This was a very racist thing when he said it. It was a very, I can't believe he's saying this. But now look at the situation. Just funny. I was just going through some clips, and I was like, you know what? Let me just show all these clips. All these clips are fun. Fun to think back. Trump, I say it all the time. When he delivers a message, people kind of go, nah, I don't believe it. He's just saying that, that. He's getting the information from somewhere. He's not just making it up. He's not on his own. Guy has a business. Guy has multiple businesses, has a lot of employees. He can get a lot of smart people. He has a lot of advisors. He's getting the information from somewhere. But the thing is, he talks like a regular person. So when someone talks like a regular person, you feel like you're on par with them. So you're like, this guy doesn't know anything. What does this guy know? because he's talking regular. He's not talking like, okay, folks, we can change and we will. And I'm here to bring about some. He's not doing all that stuff. He's not doing that weird talk that they all do. He's just talking like a New Yorker. So they're like, I know. It's like watching a comedian do comedy. You're like, I can talk too. I make people laugh. It's like, no, you're not on this guy's level. Anyways, if you haven't liked the episode already, like the episode. I'm telling you, man, like a lot of people are focusing on doing Israel-Palestine conflict, and I'll do it here and there, but you know what? You should America. You should be focusing on America. You should. You have to focus on the war that's going on there, because it is war. You have to focus on that and see it, but the fact that all of these politicians want your head just on a swivel straight towards that always tells me that it's time to focus the other way when they do that. And they want everybody's eyes away from America for some reason. So my eyes are right to America. That's how it should be. I wish a bunch of other creators would jump on board, but you got to do what you got to do. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I am CoachColin.com. Get yourself a shirt, t-shirt, whatever you need for whatever weather. We got it, 10% off. The discount code is I am Coach Colin. All capital letters, all one word, one L in the name, Colin. Get yourself something. I'm out.